Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the warning and the usual disclaimers. So, Dr. Matthew Israel is going to continue to rant about Attorney Mullins. He's going to sit there and basically tell you that, well, he's making false claims about the JRC. He had a whistleblower that wasn't reliable. Sit down, Matthew. Sit down. Because it begs the question, doesn't it? If you were so confident in the case, if you were so confident that you have done nothing wrong, I will ask you again, Doctor. Why did you order your staff to destroy the evidence that was demanded of you for this case in particular? Okay? If this attorney was so incompetent, if he was just making false accusations based off of nothing, again, I ask you, why did you feel the need to tell your staff to destroy the evidence? It doesn't make sense. So that's just more of the usual from him, blaming everyone but him fucking self. So now let's get to the disclaimers, shall we? I'm going to drink some of this because we all know the stupid is coming. Alright, folks, in the description box, you are going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called Behavior Modification Program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have the Ozark's first article in regards to the Agape boarding school / now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it. All of this which has been thus far substantiated by the hard evidence, including ER documents gathered by the investigation done by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following. Let's get through it here, shall we? Rape, sodomy, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who, still on the premises, up on multiple, again substantiated by hard evidence, claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. We have an attorney general completely obsessed with drag queens and completely refusing the idea, the concept that someone would use Christianity as a shield to hide pedophilia. No, it's got to be the drag queens, right? Drag queens who have literally have nothing on the books and done nothing wrong. But nobody would use Christianity for a shield. Pick up a history book, Attorney General. Pick up a goddamn history book sometime. Because a lot of people have used Christianity for a shield and used it to cover up a multitude of atrocities and genocides. Alright? We also got a governor out here who is hyped up on a power trip from hell, who has control of our state National Guard. And we literally have a Senate bill trying to be pushed through chambers that all women who are a part of that body must wear full-sleeved outfits. I don't know how out of control that you are, that a woman's bare arms is going to send you, but that shouldn't be the lady's problem. CCAP. Please read that article, folks, and share on all your social media, all right? We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including the very important one, Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject. Jennifer Musamba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use those headphones, all right? Good, good. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision very obviously advised. Trigger warning, we are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of a lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, lies, a shit ton of projection, victim blaming, abuse and torture apologencia, pseudoscience, enough ableism and bigotry to circle the globe a few thousand times, all coming from the lips of an individual with a massive God complex. So just be prepared for the stupid, all right? God, I love tearing these guys' arguments apart. I don't even have to try. He does it all himself. Attorney Mullins has previously been involved in making false accusations against the JRC. One notable case is described below in the item 38 of section 6 of this report. Attorney Mullins claimed he had a whistleblower within the JRC staff who supposedly relayed some complaint about abuse he or she was aware of at JRC to Mullins, and not to either JRC or the state authorities. The police report documenting this incident attached here to is Appendix A shows that Mullins, unwilling to reveal himself as the source of the complaint, apparently persuaded Kevin Hall, a Scientologist and an anti-aversive advocate in Massachusetts, to file the complaint. Oh, isn't this cute? You gotta love it, right? You gotta love it. You are now doing what you always do. Using people's inherent biases and ableism in order to paint someone with the brush that you should be painted with. Okay? But he's a Scientologist and anti-aversive advocate. Explain to me, doctor, what does him being a Scientologist have anything to do with his complaint? Go with me here, because I've been looking into Scientology for a while, just because I find the whole thing just so insane that my morbid curiosity just gets the best of me. Usually, when they're not talking about their weird-ass shit, these are individuals that are very anti-pharma. You would think that that would be just right up Dr. Matthew Israel's alley, right? I mean, he wants to take people off their meds, including those with very real psychiatric disorders who need their meds to fucking function. You would think that these people would actually be right up his alley. But here's the problem. Because this individual also didn't believe that aversives should be used as punishments on disabled people for acting within their neurology when brought under extreme stress and overwhelmed. Now, instead of using it as something that he agrees with as an individual who's against fucking medicine, now he's going to use society's inherent just distrust of Scientology as a whole as a means to demonize the man. But Matthew Israel does this a lot. In fact, that's how he tries to discredit people like me. People who stand against his shit, who can see it for the insanity that it is. It's a very, very see-through tactic. I've seen it used time and again. Shut up, doctor. Let's read the rest of the paragraph, shall we? A policeman immediately visited JRC to investigate and found that neither juvenile had any bruising or any burns on the areas inspected. The juveniles were clean and well dressed. There were no signs of any abuse or neglect. As the police report shorts, Hall then admitted to the policeman who filed the report, "I guess we know the whistleblower is not reliable." Do we? Do we? Doctor, I know for the fact that you've got the police out there in your fucking back pocket. The few police officers who are not in your back pocket actually have tried to separate students from your psycho. Case in point, when Jennifer Masumba tried to escape your hellhole, and the police officer who found her tried to make it so that you could not even enter her hospital room. And also tried to get her to do a report. Remember that? I do. I got a long fucking memory. Now, if this attorney was so unbelievable, if he just has all this bias and prejudice and is just wanting to hurt poor victim JRC, if you're doing nothing wrong, doctor, why did you order that footage destroyed? It's quite simple. Very simple question. If you believe with your whole fucking chest in what you're doing, if you believe with your whole fucking chest that you are helping these kids, then why do you play these games? Why do you try to obstruct any investigation into your center? Why have you hid documents and evidence from police on multiple fucking occasions, starting all the way back in California in 1972? Why have you played games in fast and loose with your own courts and your own police officers? Why did you find it necessary to befriend some older officers who still had some form of authority to kind of act as advocates for you? You see, if you actually had the courage of your convictions, you would have not just not ordered anything to be destroyed. You would have gleefully and proudly presented it as proof of how great your program is. But you didn't do that, did you, doctor? No, not at all. You ordered the evidence destroyed, which is why you are no longer the head of the JRC, because you took the plea bargain to step down instead of getting your well-deserved stint in jail, where you belong. You use Kevin Hall, this Scientologist, and you use it to demean him. You didn't say, but there were no signs of bruises or anything on the kids. Tell me, doctor, how thorough was that examination? Was it done by a medical professional? Or did you just simply present them fully clothed and did not allow them to do a full inspection? Because I'm going to go for the latter. You did not allow an actual inspection. You did the simple walkthrough. You presented them fully clothed. God knows they were well behaved because they knew the consequences if they fucking didn't. You did what so many abusive parents have done before you when they've gotten in trouble with CVS. Yeah, I know about it. You knew that there were no demands for a full medical exam. Do you know how much of the human body that clothes cover up? A lot. I'm going to assume no full medical examination of the boys was done at all. Was he so unreliable? Or did you again get away with your fucking atrocities because you gave the courts and the police department of Massachusetts in your area by the throat? That's my question. And as someone who's trying to discredit this particular attorney, as well as this individual, I raise you again. If this is so obvious, if it's just nothing about the money, that they're just targeting you because, again, I ask you why, doctor? Why? As an attorney, especially on the East Coast, do you have any concept or idea how many cases out there that are far more lucrative than going after your ass? It's the East Coast. You're talking Massachusetts. That's some of the most biggest moneymakers and elite that you can find in this country, this side of fucking New York. Okay? And we're not just talking money here. We're talking old money. If all he wanted was money, he could have become a part of any one of those. But he came after you. You have to ask yourself why, if it was all about money, that he came after you. Yeah. Think. Right? That's all I ask you all to do every day on this channel is to think. This was the year that he was forced to step down. He tried to save his own ass with this whole 115 sheet full of garbage. Didn't work. Which is why he's no longer the head. But the mentality and the environment that he created and the torture that he taught to the staff that are there is still perpetuating on long after he left the school. That makes it a problem, doctor. It makes it a big fucking problem. I think this attorney went after you for the same reason the rest of us fucking do. Not because we have anything to gain from it. I'm sure as hell not getting anything. You think I'd live here in this fucking state if I did? Hell no. I would have been out of here a long fucking time ago. I've literally done hundreds of these videos at this point. We're coming after you because it's right. We are trying to save another generation of disabled people and people with mental health issues from being tortured, their minds destroyed, and their mental health becoming far worse than ever it was before they ever entered your doorstep. We do not want to see another goddamn generation suffer the way Andre McCollin suffered, the way Linda Cornelison suffered, the 5 other murdered children on your doorstep suffered. Doctor. It's very simple what we all want. And I know that you just can't seem to frame your head around it, but what we want is justice. We want justice for the 6 dead kids whose blood you have on your hands. We want justice for every single generation of kids who have come in there and have been traumatized and psychologically damaged for life because of you. We also want the abuse to end. We want your school closed down and to become a byword for basically one of the last standing institutions left. We want an end to torturing children simply because of the way that they were born or mental health issues over which they have no control. And we are willing to risk everything, in order to see that happen. I don't give a shit about me. I could lose all this tomorrow and be homeless on the street. If that's what it takes to get these kids free and close you down, so be it. And there are millions of us all over the world who say the same thing. You cannot threaten us. You cannot dismiss us. You cannot silence us. You cannot just put us in a box and basically society ignore us. We are here. This is the hill we are all willing to die on, Doctor. Are you? I'm going to close on that thought. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope all of you have a good one. I will see you for last vid.